November 2017, the month when all hell breaks loose. Full-scale war breaks out in cyberspace. Raging info war escalates beyond point of no return. Cosmic Convergence Research Group. In case anyone hasn't noticed, all hell broke loose throughout the earthly domain ever since Donald Trump was elected POTUS. And if you live in the United States of America, things have been particularly crazy since the Great American Solar Eclipse of Monday, August 21. The number and intensity of extraordinary events then ratcheted up precipitously again after September 23, and for very good reason. Just look at what has occurred in the wake of the Harvey Weinstein scandal, sometimes known as Harveygeddon, breaking wide open. What very few realize is that this second Hurricane Harvey of 2017 hasn't even made landfall yet. The weekly barrage of new Harveygeddon headlines only gets more revelatory by the day. So many big names have already fallen in such a short period of time. And, yet, the American people have only been treated to a mere trailer for what is guaranteed to be the skin flick of the millennium. The whole world is about to understand why Hollywood became Hollywood in practically a day and a night. Is there anyone in their right mind who has not watched the motion picture and TV industries crash and burn over the past many years? It's as though all the studios have a death wish in their race to the bottom, sometimes known as HELLYWEIRD. They call it Hollywood because the whole place has gotten so thoroughly depraved, degenerate, debased, debauched and degraded. Truly, only the devil himself could make such short work of an entire industry. And so he has. Paydogate and Pizzagate. Of course, the grand finale of this not-so-greatest show on earth was always destined to be about Paydogate. The country has already seen the trailer for Pizzagate, the Washington, D.C. based miniseries on VIP pedophilia and child exploitation. Because it was first shown well before its official 2017 release back in November of 2016, the nation has now had a good 12 months to consider just how serious this VIP pedophilia network really is. That so many political leaders and government officials are literally controlled by the Paydogate criminal activity underscores the immediate need to blow it wide open, once and for all. Now for the serious stuff. What kind of poetic justice is it when President Trump declares the release of the JFK assassination files during the same month of the anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination? Surely Trump was quite eager to release the whole perfidious CIA cover-up as a message to the U.S. intelligence community not to try it again. For there is no question whatsoever that if the CIA could get away with murdering Trump, covertly or overtly, they would do so in a heartbeat. Things have changed quite a bit since 1960s, however. This little thing called the Internet has facilitated the immediate dissemination of conspiratorial facts and inconvenient truths with a single keystroke. It's even quite likely that, were the World Wide Web in place in November of 1963, John Kennedy would have served out 2 terms as POTUS. Nevertheless, the JFK story is really about one thing more than any other: self-sacrifice. For Kennedy knew with absolute certainty that the shadow government was gunning for him. He knew it was just a matter of time before the CIA caught up with him. This is precisely why he bravely stepped into his role as a modern-day prophet. In fact, the truths that he told to his generation have proven to be so prophetic, it's a wonder the CIA didn't take him out much sooner. For example, JFK's historic speech on secret societies is not only epic, it was the single most consequential speech ever given by a POTUS. Certainly, the U.S. intelligence community and military-industrial complex were not happy. Nor were the erstwhile mainstream media titans and banking and corporate magnates. Fast forward to 2017 and again we see the Central Intelligence Agency making the life of the POTUS absolutely miserable. They have used their major MSM organs of propaganda to spread so much disinfo, misinfo and false info about Trump it boggles the mind. How Trump manages the nation and processes all the lies and deceits about him, God only knows. But somehow he gets through it all. However, things are about to get worse, a lot worse in Washington, D.C. When a major national newspaper of record, the New York Times, conspires with a known terrorist organization Antifa to run a full-page ad calling for the overthrow of the POTUS President Trump, things are getting ready to pop big time. As far as Sutton is aware of, such a public declaration of open rebellion against a sitting POTUS has never been published by a corporate newspaper in U.S. history. It's clear that such an audacious move would only have been made with the blessing of the U.S. intelligence community. That's because the CIA owns and operates the New York Times as it does all the mainstream media news platforms. None of the MSM mouthpieces can utter a word without CIA approval, nor can the print platforms write a single sentence. By the way, that's the way it's always been, that's the way it will always be until the NIT is shut down as it should be. As a matter of fact, Trump has legal grounds to close the New York Times forever. The company has called for a revolution against the U.S. federal government. By its very actions since Trump was first elected, the Grey Lady should be terminated post-haste as she has been living on borrowed time. Based on their serial criminal corporate conduct over many decades, both the NIT and WAPO can be legally shut down in a New York minute. Perhaps the POTUS is just waiting for the perfect timing to do that. Implosion of the Democratic Party. The body politic is now witnessing the final breakdown of the Democratic Party in real time. When a major political party is given over to such bad actors as Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, Maxine Waters, Elizabeth Warren, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Tom Perez, et al., what good can possibly come of it? This cast of characters is so incompetent and without conscience that it's a wonder the donkey party hasn't already collapsed. To the point the Dems went so far over the edge by making up the Trump-Russian collusion fake story that it's inevitable it will boomerang on them. In their extreme desperation to make excuses for their historic loss to Trump, they created a monster that is now coming right for them. The headlines during the remaining part of November will serve as a retributive testament in this regard. For the Democrats are going down hard. Key point: the intensifying info war between the United States and Russia has never been more combustible. When the U.S. government forces RT America, which owns and operates RT.com, to register as a foreign agent, things are about to get very hot indeed. Washington orders RT America to register as foreign agent by Monday. Now the Kremlin, in a tit-for-tat move, has done the same by naming CNN, Voice of America and Radio Liberty as likely targets of Russia's foreign agents law. Even special counsel Robert Mueller cannot spin Team Trump indictments out of thin air fast enough as a means to distract from the Obama-Clinton Podesta crime wave. The case against the Clinton crime family is so deep and so broad that they have been ensnared by their own multi-decade crime spree. But then again, it's quite possible that Mueller made a secret deal with Team Trump. Because FBI Director Mueller was the central pivot around which the Bush-Cheney 9/11 cover-up was carried out, he, too, is stone-cold guilty of that massive ongoing conspiracy. Perhaps his only way out was to surreptitiously turn state's evidence. Mueller's quick and eager acceptance of the special counsel appointment maybe gave him an opportunity to exonerate himself, not that he can really ever do that for those who directly suffered through the terror attacks of September 11, 2001. For the FBI had to have had substantive foreknowledge of that entire joint CIA-Mossad false flag operation. Otherwise the nation's premier law enforcement agency could not have so effectively participated in the cover-up. Perhaps Mueller's greatest vulnerability in the moment is the degree to which he has been profoundly compromised by the Clintons' Uranium One scandal. He's in so deep there that he either took the appointment to cover it up even more, or to blow it wide open to avoid prison time. It's either one of the other. And Trump obviously knows which it is. Saudi Arabian coup and counter-coup. November began with a bang heard around the world in Saudi Arabia. One of the biggest bangs, however, actually occurred in Las Vegas on October 1 at the Mandalay Bay. The massacre at the Harvest music venue appears to be directly related to a remote counter-coup executed by the very rich and powerful anti-regime camp in Riyadh. This particular bombshell only grows more explosive by the day as seen by the electrifying series of events in Saudi Arabia and its neighboring countries. Even Lebanon has been, once again, dragged onto this extremely volatile regional geopolitical chessboard known as the Middle East. When the Lebanese prime minister has been effectively kidnapped by the Saudi monarchy, you know there is some serious trouble in paradise. The backstory to the various Saudi coups and counter-coups is actually so impactful that the final outcome will surely shape the destiny of the entire planetary civilization. Yes, the consequences and/or benefits of this high-level civil war, to nations near and far, can potentially change the way in which the whole world does business. American soft coup in progress. Then there is the rapidly unfolding American coup and counter-coup. Here we see the U.S. intelligence community conducting a soft coup against the sitting president. More significantly, the countless forces of deep state are vastly arrayed against the entire Trump administration. This has never happened before in such a way that the whole nation was aware of the full-scale revolt. Because this extremely dynamic and dangerous situation can only go on for so long, the climax is fast approaching. There are definite signs that the denouement will bring resolution by the end of this year, if not during this November. President Trump simply cannot govern a nation, which is in desperate need of righteous leadership, in this manner. The numerous and seditious agents of deep state have made his job virtually impossible. Hence, when George Soros is arrested without bail for treason and fomenting a revolution, things will begin to change throughout the USA. When Hillary and Bill Clinton are likewise prosecuted for crimes against the American people, the game againer has occurred. When the Podesta brothers are incarcerated for running a pedophilia network that goes way beyond child sexual abuse and exploitation, the CIA will have lost its primary control mechanism over the political class both here and abroad. November 2017. There have been several 20th-century oracles who spoke of great changes in America and the world at large by the middle of the second decade of the third millennium. Some of them have written and/or spoken of 2017 as the year when real change finally breaks out in the open. And that from 2018 onward, there will be a great purification of sorts. What that looks like is anyone's guess, especially given the current unruly state of affairs. As we have written, November has already been chock full of hair-raising blockbusters. And they're only going to get more astonishing throughout the rest of this month. As they say in the music biz, you ain't seen nothin' yet. For real. Lastly, there is always the as above, so below phenomena taking place 24/7. These relate not only to the profound and fundamental transformation of planet Earth, similarly our solar system as well as the Milky Way galaxy are experiencing an unparalleled metamorphosis. The energies that are now permeating this plane of existence are far more powerful and pervasive than anyone knows. As these sublime frequencies alter the morphogenetic field of the planet, the collective consciousness expands to accommodate the many new and necessary paradigms that humanity is being prepared to embrace. Huge changes coming to planet Earth. Key point: the birth of a new age is never without its birth pangs. When even the heavens portend a once-in-a-near celestial childbirth, why do so many shrink from such an awesome and inevitable global destiny? Conclusion. It's no quirk of fate or miracle that Donald Trump was elected POTUS in 2016. Nor is it just a fortuitous coincidence that Vladimir Putin is president of the Russian Federation during these apocalyptic times. Both of these men had a date with destiny. And they both showed up right on time. What the world is about to witness is just how serious that date with destiny really is. For each of these two leaders has been chosen to usher the world community of nations through the proverbial eye of the needle. That can only be done by an individualess who has the right stuff. The challenges are far too great and far too many to be managed by lesser men. Just as Putin has shown his countrymen what love of country really looks like, Trump has shown his fellow Americans how to speak truth to power. Each has served as a stellar example of what can be done when one takes back their power and stands in their own truth. Trump has also breathed new meaning into the notion of being patriotic. He knows that when the populace will no longer serve their country out of patriotism, the United States will cease to exist. This is why everything is about to change big time. The new Atlantis is very much an unfinished project, and it can only be completed by those of like mind. The new Atlantis master plan of the ages. Not only do Presidents Trump and Putin have similar vision and mindsets, they were divinely selected to lead their respective nations during this critical moment in human history. Cosmic Convergence Research Group, November 12, 2017.